podcast. I'm Preya.
And I'm Melanie.
The New Trials of Cardcaptor Sakura, Sharon, and Friends is a popular ongoing fanfic by Wishlove, and it's based off of Clamp's Cardcaptor Sakura. Usually we do a deep dive of a chapter, but we are in hiatus mode, so we are taking the time to lovingly read over Diana's wonderful, amazing, lengthy YouTube comments. Last time we left off on chapter 25, so we're going to kick things off with chapter 26, Living Together, and we'll start with the audiobook. Take it away, Melanie.
All right, so chapter 26, we have What a Short and Funny Chapter. It felt like a silly old anime episode. Good times. The handcuffs made their appearance. I know this happened in Arc 2, but completely forgot it was on this chapter. This was a nice surprise. I loved that the school bell sound effects sounded straight from the CCS anime. Thank you. I specifically looked for a churchy sounding one. On a darker tone, the Phantom makes its first appearance. Oh boy, do I smell trouble in the future. I find it funny and concerning that the school would have students clean and fix the old theater. They probably came in contact with mold, chemicals, and who knows what else. And don't even get me started on the student death 22 years ago. The school took the cheap way out, LOL.
That's exactly what we were talking about in our podcast.
Sakura and Sharon forgot about Moonstone? I didn't recall this. Does this ever happen again?
I think so. I think because, we don't see Moonstone for a long time. I actually ended up, writing to Wish-chan saying, hey, what's going on with Moonstone? And then it's dot, and then Moonstone appears in Arc 4.
Oh, yes, Moonstone. Our queen. Our keen. Anyway, lastly, did Wish-chan just drop another hint about Kai's origins? Like mother, like son? Laughed my ass off. Yeah, she certainly did. Thank you for sharing. Have a lovely week.
What I like about this comment is the way that she forgot. She knew about the handcuffs, but she forgot where it came. And it just shows time and time again. It's no matter how much we read New Trials over and over, there's always things that surprise us.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, now moving on to Living Together, the podcast episode. This was a funny podcast episode, much like the chapter. LMAO, Kai was being a trickster and an SNS shipper. Who said those were mutually exclusive? Lol. I want to say that the student playing Raoul just got really injured. Knowing how students are, the accident was exaggerated throughout the years until it became an urban legend. But who knows?
True.
Only Wish-chan can tell. I second, or third, the idea of asking Wish-chan how Nadeshiko and Ririn sealed forces back in the day. For some time, I thought they were stealing it to the 5-4 scroll, but with this reread, I don't think so. Does anyone know how the 5-4 scroll is supposed to work? I thought the 5-4 scroll was just like a directory.
Yeah, I kind of think of it as the Pokédex,
Yeah.
like a Pokemon. It's just information.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I looked at it. And I still am going on the theory that they sealed it the way Miko's seal demons, in areas and stuff like that. But yeah, I am interested to hear what Wish-chan says, though.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for SNS's adventure whilst living together. Summer Saga, we're getting there. Thank you for sharing. Have a lovely week.
Boo-boo.
Next is... so this one is chapter 26.5, Legacy of the Twins. Okay, Melanie, I'll let you take it away.
I'm super excited for this chapter. I've been looking forward to it since it was released 4 months ago. She means our episode. Oh my God, can I say that this might be my favorite audiobook chapter so far? I don't know if it's the change of point of view or how you slightly change their voices from how Sakura views them or what, but I was super invested in the twins. The moment I heard Eron's voice, I was hooked. And Erika didn't seem as mean or ditzy or fake. Kudos to you. Thank you. I had the biggest smile on my face that whole sentence. Thank you so much. The part where Aaron gives Erika the doll and they promise to be together always pulls at my heartstrings. It's one of my favorite moments in NT, and it's an underrated moment. I think it's so sincere and crucial to the story. Does it change the fact that they're villains? No, but it sure makes me understand them better and, in a way, root for them. Root for them in the let's break the curse and become happy, healthy, and free, and not in the let's destroy everyone and their grandma. Me kicking, bouncing, fangirling. Oh my god, it's happening! Risa and Ryuichi official appearance. I noticed so many parallels and have thoughts and theories. I figure Wish-chan had Ryuichi and Risa say different things as to not repeat the same information, but this might be the first time I truly noticed how different their approaches were. I have two major theories about them, which I will share in the podcast comment. However, I can say this, in both theories, Risa is the one running the show. Surprised Pikachu faced. I agree with you, girl. This chapter gave me life. Thanks for sharing. Have a lovely weekend.
Oh my gosh, I would never have expected that. Like, this is such a dark horse of a chapter, and for it to be the one that, like, Diana was anticipating towards, it's really interesting to learn.
Well, she's our Dark One encyclopedia.
Grade 5.
Oh, grade 5. Correct, sorry.
Okay, 4 parts of chapter 26.5, The Legacy of the Twins.
I'm excited.
Once again, I was surprised at the shout-out. Now I'm smiling like a dummy. Thank you for the shout-out, and Preya and Melanie, you're very welcome. LMAO at the guy trying to woo Preya with burned CCS episodes. It seems like something Kai would do, LMAO. My parents had 2 kids and I'm the oldest. Me and my sister get along super well. We spend a lot of time together, a lot of inside jokes and adventures. I say we've gotten closer with age. We also have a lot of step-siblings, all different ages, from my stepmother and stepfather. We're not super close to them, but we do get along pretty well. We always send regards, birthday and holiday wishes and gifts, and we hang out with them whenever we're together. There's one step-sibling we're closer to because we lived with her when we were younger. I tend to do my New Trials rereads in 2 ways. First way is just me reading certain scenes from certain chapters depending on my mood and interest. For example, rereading only Kai and Mei Lin scenes for fun reading, or for fun, reading just Sakura and Sharon angst scenes from Arc 4, or searching for very specific clues. The other one, which I've done a lot less because it can take months, consists of me rereading the entirety of New Trials. You're right about the twins, Preya. I don't think I've ever noticed how Aaron never made any connections besides Erika. She, at least, looked for an excuse before she no longer needed them. What would have happened if the twins had been split up? I think if there were no magic, then Aaron would have been adopted and lived far longer than Erika. However, if the weak heart is part of the curse's design and not natural, then Erika would have lived. They would have eventually found each other. Ideally, they would have stayed together. Oh, I like that theory. Like, if there was no curse, there would be no weak heart, and then we would have Erika.
Yeah, makes sense. I hope so, for her sake.
In a world where magic exists, and they were separated, I would think that Aaron would have been adopted, but returned to the orphanage multiple times. Ouch! I see the Dark Ones finding ways to make him unlucky, like so many families return him because he was quote-unquote cursed.
Ooh.
Alternatively, he might lash out because he wants his twin. This is a fun question. Watch me think about this for the rest of the night. Lol. Or instead of being returned to the orphanage, he'd probably be put into foster care, and then he would just bounce from one foster home to the other. I think that would be the more likely thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also scared for Erika's future. Not because I think she will die, but because of what can happen. I'll go more in depth in another comment. I like your insight about the twins. I hadn't noticed how they're originally quote-unquote part of Sakura's circle of friends, and then slowly become outsiders in Arc 2 and 3. I'll take it a step further and say they're slowly going back to being a part of the circle for real this time, thus completing the cycle. More on that soon. Melanie, I noticed how the nurse pronounced their names. Nice idea. Thank you for the mood board shout out. I'm super glad you like them. My many theories will be in another comment. Thank you for sharing your insight. You rock. I wish you a wonderful weekend. Okay, go for it, Melanie.
Okay, so then we have heads up. This will be so long, I'm dividing into parts. Sorry, this is so long, it might not be so organized. So we have part 1, Risa and Ryuichi debut. Was I super excited? Heck yeah, cracks knuckles. It is super interesting that the first dark one to contact a twin is Risa. A little side note, could Risa have contacted Ryujiro, Ryuichi's son, back in the day?
I can see it happening.
For sure. As we know, Risa contacts Eureka first. Her approach is, I see the pain you and your brother have been through. My brother and I went through something similar. She digs the knife deeper by reminding Eureka how different they are from others. She and Eron are outcasts because she's too weak to play, and Eron is too loyal to abandon her. She continues her approach by something like, but can't you see you're causing him pain? If you weren't weak, things would be better for him. Accept me and things will become better. And this is something Eureka has brought up a few times in the series. If Eureka didn't have a weak heart or exist, would Eron have been happier? Would he have had a better life, a family, friends? She feels like a burden to him. Does this remind you of someone?
Ooh.
Next, we have Ryuichi and Eron. We can imagine that Ryuichi told Eron the same thing and Wish-chan chose not to be redundant. However, Ryuichi's focus is more, Eron, you're weak and can't protect your sister, who you love very much. Accept my deal and you'll be able to keep your promise. Eron's most important person is Eureka. He's willing to do anything for her, hence why he would make a deal with an unknown entity claiming to be his ancestor and spend half his life following commands that end harming others. Without Eureka, Eron's life has no meaning. Does this sound familiar too?
Ah!
Oh my god. Eron and Eureka are parallels to Ryuichi and Risa. Oh my god. The OG twins' origins are unknown, but we get little snippets in different versions. They come from nothing, like Eron and Eureka. They traveled during their youth, like Eron and Eureka. Risa and Ryuichi looked for a place to belong, just like Eureka and Eron. Risa always had a weak body, just like Eureka. Ryuichi was physically the stronger twin, just like Eron. Risa was probably her brother's biggest supporter. For example, her not joining the G5 because she was just there to support Ryuichi. Eureka not caring what people think of her, but arguing with anyone who wrongs her brother. Ryuichi seeking revenge on Hayashi for breaking his sister's heart. Eron wanting to beat Mike for breaking up with Eureka. Ryuichi disliked the fact that Risa fell in love with Hayashi, just like Eureka couldn't stand it when Eron dated Sakura. Risa worried her brother would be upset if he saw how sad and sick she was. Eureka felt the same as a kid. Risa felt like a burden on her loved ones, and Eureka's felt like a burden to Eron too. Ryuichi going to the dark side, trying to bring Risa back. Eron admitting to Tomeo that when Sakura died, he understood what Ryuichi must have felt and thought his path to obsession. So if he went to those dark places in his mind over Sakura, imagine what he would do for Eureka. It's getting late, but I'll definitely be back with part 2.
Diana came to play.
Oh my girl.
You know, I don't think I've ever thought about that before. And it was right there in front of us.
Oh my god. Yeah, but she's so right though. So right.
Wow. Mind blown.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
That, and it was like written, the writing is on the wall. And the thing is that we've always had twins in the past, but they've never, well, as far as we know, like Aaron and Erica's father, it's like his relationship with his brother is nowhere near the relationship.
No, yeah, that is such a good point. Yeah, that is a very, very good point. Yeah, wow. Man, I am gonna like be spiraling tonight while I'm laying in bed.
Oof. Okay, the next one is, part 2, continuation. In the previous comment, I was highlighting some parallels between the OG Chang twins and Aaron and Erica. I forgot to mention that something very important to Aaron and Erica is the promise they made to each other. I think it's safe to assume that Ryuichi and Risa might have promised each other something similar, which leads me to the next part. Is Risa the OG Dark One? This topic has been touched multiple times, not only because it's interesting, but because it might hold the key to ending the curses and NT's ending. I skimmed through some of the Facebook discussion, but I haven't checked the group's I.O., so I know I'm definitely missing some information. Anyway, here we go. As Melanie pointed out, Risa's debut does not match the Risa that we come to know in Arc 4. You know it's a shock when Sharon, with no memories and in the fantasy, believes that, unlike Ryuichi, she's genuinely a good person. And between Aaron and Erica, Sakura finds Aaron to be the nicer one. What do Risa and Aaron have in common? The power of light, which is something we learn in chapter 70.
Wow.
What I don't know is whether the twins can only have one power at a time/life, or if they can both in a sort of yin-yang way. For example, has Aaron always been the light twin and was just corrupted, or was he always meant to have both light and dark? I might get an answer in a future chapters. Someone in FB pointed out that perhaps Hayashi knew Risa would become the Dark One. In chapter 73, we have a flashback, and we see she's the one to coin the Great Five. Hayashi asks why not the Great Six, and when Risa says she doesn't have any powers, Hayashi tells her that the people's powers come at different times. Leon and Erica state that Risa's powers was that of light, but could they have been mistaken? In chapter 67, Shilin remarks how Risa was always in her brother's shadow, though that could have just been jealousy talking.
Oh my god.
You're bringing us on a whole new level here, Diana. Now we understand why you were so excited about this chapter.
Oh man.
We don't know when Risa's powers started to develop, if at all. Was it before everything went sour? Was it when she was falling off the cliff? Was she always meant to have the power of darkness? Or did an unseen dark and twisted force take over her? Could this be the last force Sakura needs to face? Is this the void, the destruction? Or did this happen after Ryuichi tried to bring her back?
I have a theory. I think it was when she knew she was losing her baby. And I think that sent her over the edge. As a mom, I can only imagine, especially not only as a mom, but as someone who really struggled to get pregnant and had a miracle baby. And this was Risa's miracle baby. And to know she was having a miscarriage, I could see that sending her over the edge. And that being the deciding factor of her getting possessed, if you want to call it, or, yeah.
If Erica and Leon aren't mistaken, and Risa was always the light bearer, could her soul have gotten corrupted the more Ryuichi tried to bring her back? Did his dark magic go so out of whack and harm her until her essence was no longer recognizable? Was this corrupted version speaking to him and having him do her bidding? Could this entity have used Ryuichi's failed promise/guilt against him? Did Ryuichi realize how corrupted she'd become and didn't know how to help her other than what she wanted to give her peace.
Wow.
Another theory with little evidence and less plausible is that Risa is running the show, but only doing so to save Ryuichi. If she really was the light twin and the sweet/nice one, wouldn't it distress her to know how dark Ryuichi has become? That he was no longer the brother she loved, like Erika felt when Aaron released the plague. She already felt like a burden to her others before, so who's to say she wasn't distressed upon seeing the state she had left her brother in? She would stick by him and maybe make a deal with some other force, if that's something a dead magician can do, ... Wouldn't this be something Aaron and Erika would do for each other? Maybe in a less extreme way with Sakura's help. Part 3 coming soon. Diana, you've been sitting on these for so long. I know she's like dived into the discussion to like support her theories, but like wow.
Yeah. Goodness. Before I go to part 3, I remembered this. When Sakura loses her sight in Arc 4, Iro tells her that the darkness is safety, but light is blinding. I don't know how to incorporate this anywhere, but felt like it was worth bringing up. Darkness is safety, but light is blinding. Interesting.
You think it's the other way around, but it's like tables have turned. Because, like, you want to be in light and you don't want to be in the dark. But then again, dark is like your security blanket, and light just blinds you from the truth.
Well, and I'm going to sidetrack for a minute and go into my ophthalmology zone. But, like, interesting tidbit. Do you know why pirates would wear patches back in the day? Eye patches?
I think that's because they're trained their eye to like work in the dark. So if everything goes dark, then the eye that's under the patch can like see.
Yes. So basically, eyes can adjust to darkness after a while. It takes a long time, but you can adjust. Whereas if you have a really bright light shining in your eyes constantly, you can't get used to that. Or if you look directly in the sun, you can get like sun retinopathy and stuff like that. So I don't know. I might be going too medical on that comment, but that's how I could see. Like, too much light could be bad, whereas darkness could be safe because you can adapt to it. I don't know. Okay.
To sidetrack on your sidetrack, if you cover one eye and you go through life with just like one eye seeing, doesn't that totally like ruin your depth perception?
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of pirates probably were like wobbly and stuff. I don't know.
Okay. But... Yeah. Because like you don't have depth perception if you only have one working eye.
Yeah, I mean your brain can get used to some things eventually and after a while, but like but not even depth perception, even just your normal peripheral vision would be affected too, So anyway.
Okay, take it away.
Okay. Anyway, back to part 3. We know the lengths Ryuichi was willing to go for Risa, and we can use Aaron as a guide to what Ryuichi's thought process might have been as he descended into darkness and madness. We know Erika is alive because of the Dark One's curse and bargain. What will happen to her once the curse is broken? Well, if she dies, which I doubt will happen, Aaron would most likely go down a similar path to Ryuichi or Risa. The purpose of the Star Alliance generation is to put an end to this endless cycle of misery, to be stronger than the Great Five ever were. I really don't want to see Sakura, Sharon, and or company killing Aaron, and it would be a tragedy if the twins, who have their lives cut short in every generation, die just like that. What kind of message and hope and redemption/salvation would this be? It just continues the cycle. Agreed. As stated by Aaron in Chapter 70, each chain generation has a twin, one to carry the revenge and the other one as a spare. Erika's body is too weak for childbirth, and Aaron decided he wasn't going to have any children. He wants to end the curse to save Erika and let her have a normal life. We know she puts her brother above everything else, including her own life, which she values greatly.
Hmm.
If the Dark Ones were powerful enough to influence every generation to have twins, I don't see why they wouldn't have the power to control their body's health. But if Sakura finds a way to end the curse, wouldn't this stop the curse's effect on their bodies? Would Erika's heart stop, or would it just turn into a healthy heart? She has some parallels with Risa, but I don't think Erika was ever really meant to be the sick twin. I think Reiji was always meant to be sick because Ryota practically killed in the womb. But Eron never did that with Erika. They might have been okay if it weren't for the curse. Ryuichi and Risa may have orchestrated the right environment for their plan to take advance, but only Wish-chan will tell us when the time comes.
Wow.
This next section is just dark and melodramatic, AU, that popped into my head during the whole process. Imagine the sheer tragedy, betrayal, and mayhem if Eron and Sakura had stayed together and had twins. In a world where the Dark One's curse is not broken, Sakura would die from childbirth and Eron would follow shortly after. There would be a new Sakura card master, and the twins would perhaps be some of the strongest magical individuals in the world, no? I mean, they would have Amiya, Chain, and Mizuki, presumably, blood in them. Not to mention the Clowry's reincarnation's grandchild.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap.
Oh my gosh. What a mixed bag.
Whoa. I didn't even think of, that they would have, possibly 3 Great 5 blood in them. Wow.
Yeah.
But this begs the question, would the curse be broken? The main Amiya descendant would be dead. The main Lee would be heartbroken and probably dead inside, perhaps leading the Lee clan to ruins, thus achieving the goal. But then again, would the curse continue because the Amiya blood lives in Chain bloodline? Would Shaoran's hypothetical kid fall in love with Sakura's kid? Imagine Toya and Erika fighting over who gets to take care of the children. Toya would probably win because Erika would probably die after Eron dies as per the curse. Would Erika even like Eron's kids because they're the reason he dies and the reason she'll die? Or would she love them in spite of that? Sorry, this episode has so many comments on it that were so long. I hope this made some sense. Too many thoughts and questions roaming around, LOL. I thank you for your time. I wish you a wonderful week.
Diana, this was so much fun.
I just want to give you just the biggest hug and just tell you how much I love you.
It's like Melanie, during your reread it, do you read the twins chapter or do you skip it?
I always skip it. Always. Always. Yeah, because I remember even Shaoran's, thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was a lot more than actually what I thought it was,
Yeah, it's like, no, get me to the main story. And now we have Diana who's just breathing such life into it that, it puts us to shame. We are the deep dive podcasters, and yet Diana is showing us up, and I love it.
Yeah, that's why we keep saying whenever we get to the Great 5 stuff, she has got to be our third host with us. We've got to make the time differences work.
That was such a fun trip, and it's really given us a whole new appreciation for this quote-unquote side chapter.
Yeah.
It's anything but. Okay, we're moving on to chapter 27, Galloping Through a Thundercloud. And go for it, Melanie.
Yay! Sakura taught Shaoran rollerblading. This is so cute! And it parallels when he taught her some martial arts. Between this and that, I prefer the rollerblading for the fluff. I knew we would meet Midnight Star, but it's clever that Wish-chan used Black Beauty as foreshadow. Asuma and Arima make their debut. Yay! Don't you love knowing where their story goes? I remembered Arima had a crush on Toya, but I forgot Asuma lived in Hong Kong and had crushes on the Lee sisters and Nakaru. I was squealing when this line showed up. The thing is, you can't help it. It came naturally and unexpectedly, sudden like a thundercloud. That's love. All I could think of was Leon. Leon's debut is coming up. I know he was talking about love, but we know thunderclouds are in his name. Leon's debut! This chapter I always remember because it's Leon's debut. I would love to ask Wish Chan, without spoilers of course, if she always meant for Leon to become what he is in Arc 4. What are her feelings regarding the character? He's such an enigma and polarizing character. Those rain and wind sounds and the somber music were a nice touch. Thank you for sharing. I wish you a nice day.
I think that was Wish Chan's ultimate plan, because she's setting him up as like Sharon's doting cousin. He was like the father he never had. He was his favorite. He was everybody's favorite. And then when he comes back on the scene, he just flips everything on its head. And we're just like, we just get the wind knocked out of us.
Before you...
Now for chapter 27's podcast episode. I know I rode a pony when I was in elementary, but I don't remember if I ever rode a horse. I've ridden camels and an elephant, though. That's cool. As for the racetrack, I may be wrong, but I think I went to one when I was a little kid. I remember sitting in a stadium and seeing horses. Preya, Stash the Cookies has to be the cutest name ever. I would love to learn how to rollerblade. I haven't tried rollerblading since I was in elementary. I nearly broke a bone, and it was pretty bad. Girl, I don't blame you. We were supposed to read Black Beauty in grade 5, or back in the 5th grade. I was the only one trying to read the book through, since not even the teacher was into it. Ouch! Needless to say, I never finished the book. Aww.
It's a lengthy book. It's like this thick.
It is thick. I do have a copy, but definitely give it a shot, because it's a beautiful story, and it has like this really nice full circle moment at the end. Mm-hmm. I never realized this chapter could have been S and S's first date. Aww. Aww, that's so cute. Sakura being perceptive of others but not herself is something I can relate to. I've never been able to tell when someone likes me or what they think of me, but I've been told that I can perceive others pretty well. And Melanie, the same thing happens to me when I read tarot. I do fine when I'm reading other people, but I overthink mine so much to the point where I don't know what the message is.
Yep.
We have Melanie nodding furiously over here. My order of interest is The Legacy of the Five Forces, Kaiju Magician Origins, Chloe Reed, The Early Years, and Voice of the Wolf. Like Preya said, Wish Chan barely scratched the surface with The Legacy of the Five Forces. There's so much we don't know, and I would love to learn about their highs and lows, because where would the story be without those 6 individuals? Kaiju Magician and Chloe Reed are tied for me. I love Kai so much, but I would love to know about Chloe Reed because he's such an enigma in the Clamverse. Voice of the Wolf is last, because as much as I love Sharon, we get so much information about him in NT. Anyway, I think Wish Chan might finish KMO first, since it's the only special with multiple chapters in 2 parts. I remember Melanie's fic. It was so full of drama. We got things like Sakura trying to find out who her biological father was, and Sharon having a stalker who nearly kills Sakura. She has a better memory. She has a better memory than me. I baited this story.
I'm so impressed.
Wait, what? Sharon heard Sakura at the end of the chapter? Sharon, what the heck? Flips over table.
Yeah,
Wish Chan
response too.
Yeah, Wish Chan is just pulling our heartstrings here. It's like she won't say it in canon, but if you dig deep enough in fan art, she spills the tea. Lastly, Leon made his official debut. He does sound like a great guy. I decided to think about the AU where he goes to Japan instead of Sharon. Here we go. AU. Lei-Yun is sent to Japan. Toya would be suspicious of Lei-Yun and be more involved with the Clo card business, because why would a 16-year-old be interested in an elementary school kid? He befriends Toya in order to get closer to Sakura, and therefore the Clo cards. However, since he didn't go to the Dragon Isles, he wouldn't have been as crooked as he is now. We do have characters say that he was always a bit of a weirdo and scheming type, though. Anyway, eventually, Lei-Yun gets to see what life can be like outside the Lee clan, and he starts to care for the Kinomoto family. I don't know if Sakura would have a crush on Lei-Yun like she did with Yukito, but if she did, Lei-Yun wouldn't reciprocate her feelings. He would tell her he sees her like a little sister or something. Maybe he would tell her about Sharon. Who knows? I don't know what Ariel, Tomoyo, and Meilin would be doing in this AU. Sharon might show up like Meilin showed up. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. like my AU just began and ended with Lei-Yun saying, "Give me the cards," and Sakura's like, "Okay."
I was also sort of shipping him and Toya a little bit with that read too.
AU2. Toya is the Clo master and not Sakura. It's a little harder to imagine this, but the story would be more shunen than shujo.
Shonen and then shoujo.
Yeah, shonen than shoujo. Thank you for sharing. I wish you a great day. Diana, those AUs were a lot of fun, and it went a lot further than my imagination did.
Mine too, for that matter.
Ooh, now we get into chapter 28, My Prince Will Come.
A chapter full of fluff. Did I smile and shake my head at some cheesy parts? Yes. Did I enjoy them? Yep. Asuma and Arima got together. I knew this happened during this chapter, but forgot they didn't exactly confess to each other during the race, but rather after. Surprisingly, what I did remember from this chapter was how Sakura used the flower and the bubble. That seemed such a shoujo manga thing to do that it stayed in my brain since 2010. A bit random and maybe a bit of a stretch, but there was something about Asuma and Arima that made me think of Hayashi and Shu Lin and Landon, to an extent. Like if Hayashi and Shu Lin had been honest about their feelings in their youth, basing this on their conversation in chapter 67.
Yeah, I see it.
When Sakura wonders why Arima remembered some stuff, even though her memory was wiped, I got Arc 4 Amnesia Sakura flashbacks. Do I smell drama between Takashi and Chiharu? Preya must be so happy. I completely forgot that the best couple contest was announced in this chapter. Summer fun, here we go. Lastly, this might be a stretch, but this section made me think of the Reed family, maybe excluding Lawrence. It says in the 5-4 scroll, the unicorn, a rebellious wild creature that has taken form in an extraordinary black stallion for years. Though it may seem uncontrollable, it has a sensitive, timid nature inside and is best not to anger or intimidate it. Thank you for sharing. Take care.
That's cool. And like the unicorn is their patron animal. And that pretty much sums up the reads as far as we know.
Yeah, true.
I like it. I like it. Okay, now for My Prince Will Come podcast episode. Aww, your love stories. They're so cute. I agree that Asuma and Arima can be an alternate version of Sakura and Sharon. Wish-chan probably created them so that Sakura and Sharon could have an older sister / older brother figure and as plot devices, but like Preya, I want to believe that this was her releasing all the fluff she had been holding back on Sakura and Sharon. Oh yeah, I stand by that. Yay, I'm looking forward to the Takashi and Chiharu arc. I always crack up at Aki and Erika as a couple. They're so dramatic. I find Aaron as their manager even funnier. And like, if you think about it, so you know how like Sakura and Sharon didn't want to fill out their questionnaires, so Tomoyo did all the work and made them like cute couple level so that they can get through. Imagine if Erika and Aki were just like in their own worlds, and if Aaron had to complete the form as if he was his sister and her like suitor.
so funny. I could see them being like, then he hit me with the ball, and then he caught my head as I fell, and then we looked into each other's eyes, and Aaron is just writing, got hit by ball. He asked if I was okay.
Thank you for sharing. Take care. Next we have chapter 29, Never Want You to Hurt. Ooh.
The whip. It has made its appearance. What a troublesome force. For some reason, I keep thinking the whip is an Arc 3 Dark Force, when in reality it's part of Arc 2. This is interesting because back in the day, this was one of my favorite chapters. I hated the pain Sakura and Shaoran had to go through, but it's such an S&S moment. Don't you love it when characters have to take care of each other? They definitely grew closer. The heel also makes its first appearance. No one knew how important this card would be later on in the series. Wish-chan was not being subtle at all with the heel. She practically tells us how Arc 3 will end.
Yeah.
This chapter is the first time we learn about Eron's lack of artistic abilities. I always find it hilarious. Funny that the twin who's always trying to get into art is the untalented one. Because he wants to be an architect, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Take care.
That's cute. Okay, now for the Never Want You to Hurt chapter 29 podcast comment. The first one to pop into my mind was the incident that happened during one of my jobs. There was a big roach in the office. I know I was supposed to take care of it because everyone was busy, but I hate roaches. I will avoid them like the plague. They freak me out so much that I get a bad kind of goosebumps, and I'm pretty sure I turn paler. Unfortunately, you can't always avoid your troubles, and I've been forced to find multiple ways to get rid of them. I've even helped others in getting rid of them. However, that day, I was like, nope, not dealing with this today. Anyway, I managed to get a coworker to get rid of the roach for me. I didn't even have to do the cleanup. I'm sure there are other stories, but this is just one of them. I think this is when we asked each other, did anybody ever go in a situation and, like, were you in a situation where somebody else did, like, the dirty work or, like, the hard thing for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also like how Wish-chan makes some elements of the story feel real. It reminds me of how some animes can be more serious, but still have their anime-ish moments. It also goes with how the story and characters tackled some real-life topics. I was shocked by Erika's slap, because I already know how the story progresses and how Wish-chan's writing has changed. But back in the day, I wasn't that shocked. Yeah. I was surprised Shaoran didn't spill the tea in Mandarin or Cantonese rather than in Japanese. Wish-chan mentions Leon so much that it leaves me baffled how I didn't guess his return in Arc 3. Who knows what other things we keep missing in future chapters. Yeah, that's the beauty of New Trials. Wish-chan likes bringing dead people back to life. LMAO. In a series where the characters are explicitly told that's something they can't do, Wish-chan practically says, those rules don't apply to me. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I love that. Am I the only one who imagined Ryuichi and Chloe being so jealous? Thank you for sharing. I wish you a nice day. That's a good laugh. OMG! Thank you so much! This made my day go from a 4 on 10 to a 100 on 10! I'll definitely come back and comment again. I just couldn't wait to express my gratitude. Thank you once again. Lots of happy emojis. Okay, she says, I finally and officially reached this episode. It made me so happy all over again. I can't express my gratitude enough. It's fun to listen to my comments from earlier chapters. It's like a time capsule, but it's more fun to listen to your comments. I'm glad to know you liked my Yamazaki character study, Priya. I'm looking forward to your podcast episode on Chiharu and Takashi's special since you're their number one fan and Kanisar. I'm not going to say connoisseur. Kanisar.
You're not a connoisseur.
Connoisseur. That's how you Anglophones say it. Connoisseur. Connoisseur. We say connoisseur. OMG, I love your idea of NT possibly ending with a sunset, cries in a corner. It's so beautiful. By the way, I am so down to join you. Should you ever do a podcast on the legacy of the Five Force? This confirmed. One of these days. We have a long way to go. A very, very, very long way to go. But this will happen.
Oh, 100%.
Amulet. Okay, I'm jumping way ahead, but I forgot to mention this a while ago. I haven't read the chapter in a hot minute, but when Sakura is in the fantasy, we see the eye symbol again, only this time it belongs to a clan we've never heard of. This clan is the group that goes after Sakura and Sharan. So that makes me wonder if this was just a one-time thing, or if this is something Wish-chan will bring up again, because funny enough, I don't recall Ryuichi Arisa wearing anything evil eye related, even though it's such a Chang symbol.
Interesting.
Ryuichi's ninja character. LMAO at me remembering such a small detail. I haven't reread Arc 4, but I believe the first time we learn about this is when Sakura and Sharon argue in chapter 66. I don't remember the specifics, but Sakura chides Sharon in hurting Aaron when Aaron isn't a trained warrior like Sharon. Sharon argues something along the lines of, why wouldn't Aaron be skilled if Ryuichi was a well-trained ninja back in the day?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's doing a bell for me.
I don't know if this detail is ever brought up back again in canon. Lol. The twins' bracelet. It sure will. Won't it, Erica? Aaron fingered his bracelet on his left wrist, identical to Erica wore. That's chapter 6.
Man.
Yeah. It's like all these little details. Tomoyo's movie. I didn't know that you couldn't post your film on YouTube if you wish to enter a film festival. That's cool to know. Thank you, Priya. I also love Melanie's headcanon of Tomoyo using TikTok to promote her fashion projects. Now I kind of want to see what the character's social media would be like. Fun question. Who do you think would have the most social media followers?
The Mayo.
Yes. She would just curate her page so perfectly, and it's like without even knowing it, she will know how to like bring in like the viewers, and she would be such an influencer. Oh my god.
I could see her being the type of influencer though where she doesn't like communicate much with her fans, but everyone is just obsessed with her content and interacts with her, and she's kind of like an enigma,
Yes.
and not really a whole lot of people know who she actually is. Oh my gosh. You know how you do your little mood boards, Diana? I would love for you to do like a fake social media profile for the characters. Like, I don't know if you've seen the TikTok where people are like, this is Draco Malfoy's Instagram page, and then it shows like lots of different pictures and stuff. I would love for you to do that. Anyway.
That's cute. I like that idea. Once again, thank you so much for this episode. Off I go to chapter 30. Yeah, no, this was a fun episode to record. And it's already at 97 views, which is like on average a lot higher than our other views for our other videos. So you're not the only one who loved this, and this was a real throwback to the Yahoo group days for sure.
For sure.
Okay, now back to the fanfic. This is chapter 30, The Lone Thief of the Night.
Chef's kiss at the sound effects in the beginning. It was like the police sirens.
Yes, it's like a movie. Very cool.
Thank you. At Iro and Miho's sibling dynamic. This chapter is Itoko's first mention, right? Was I the only one who liked the scene between Eron and Sharon? It seemed so shonen anime rival to friends. I wouldn't mind seeing them have a scene like this in the finale. How did airport security allow Mei Lin to travel with a sword?
She probably has like Lee clearance. Yeah.
Yeah. Me, oh my god, the Mizuki locket. An important clue to Kai's past, and the first time we get a possible connection between the locket and the mysterious ruby earrings. Dane, Wish-chan, how do you do this? Gazing down at the silver oval locket with strange engravings, he clutched it tightly. I can't. It's my last possession that is solely related to my identity. Without it, I'm losing the last key to who I really am. Plus, Kaito fingered a round circular ruby embedded into the middle of the front of the locket. The ruby in the setting of my locket might be the ruby from the earrings, Kaito replied. That's only one ruby and not even an earring, Sharon pointed out. It could be one side of the ruby earring embedded in a new setting over the years, Kaito replied. We don't get confirmation of the locket earring connection until Kaito Magician Chapter 5 back in 2012.
Wish-chan sat on that for a very long time.
Long time. Anyway, was I the only one who forgot the details of Kai being beaten with an iron rod? I hope it wasn't a scenario like Batman, the Joker, and the Jason Todd. Batman equals Leon, Jason Todd equals Kai, the Joker, some bad guy. Anyway, I'm loving the Kai Sakura shout-on interaction. Laugh my ass off, hair gel. Mm-hmm. In this chapter, the first instance of Aaron sniffing chronicles. You found it for us. It's interesting that Shadow mentions how it's best not to get involved with the high officials because this is the reason why the Lee clan had to move from Shanghai to Hong Kong. Thanks for
sharing, maybe.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Till next time.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, that ruby, it's gone places. Okay, now for the Lone Thief of the Night podcast episode. That shout out took me by surprise. Sorry it's so long, LMAO. Thank you for the shout outs. OMG, I didn't know about Itsuku. I watched the Hanayori Dango J-drama back in 2012, but I generally don't remember this. I've heard the don't put your purse on the floor superstition in two ways. One is because you lose money, and the other one is that you won't get married.
Oh.
Some Dominican superstitions are, if a pregnant woman is craving food, she's not supposed to touch any part of her body until she eats that food, or else the baby will be born with a birthmark on that area. Okay? Another one is that if your ears are ringing, someone is talking about you. I can never remember which side is the compliment and which one is the talking crap one. My favorite superstition, though, is that if it's raining and it's sunny at the same time, a witch is getting married. I think it's cool because chances are you'll see a rainbow. That's fun. Mm-hmm. Locket. This was addressed recently on Facebook, but yes, Ryuichi gifted Mayura the locket, confirmed in Kaito Magician Origins Chapter 5. I love how Sharon told Sakura how even if he had no powers, they would have still met. It really goes to show how they're meant to be. They're like the balance of free will and fate/destiny. And I love how it's clamp canon compliant. Yeah, how it's clamp canon compliant. Sakura and Sharon will always find each other in every version. Thanks for sharing. Take care until next time. Very cute. Okay, the last one that we're going to leave you with for tonight is Chapter 30.5, Sharon's Birthday Special. The Small Wolf's Most Precious Birthday.
I love your Paro-chan. Thank you. Thank you. This chapter is filled with Lee Clan information. How could I overlook this? I will go over this in the podcast. This is Wu Tai's first appearance. He sounds so bored and so done with Shaoran. Kind of like Scar with Simba, except I don't expect Wu Tai to start singing. Be prepared. Wu Tai. Also, was I the only one who forgot that Ryurin was potentially a middle child? Yep.
Yep.
I think I only reread this chapter whenever I do my whole New Trials reread, prologue to most recent chapter, because I forget how much I love the conversation between Sharon and Wutai. What a sick burn. I always crack up at Sharon's birthday gifts. Poor guy, LMAO. It's been years and no one could let go of the mirror gift. Also, for some reason, I forgot Maylin had given him a wooden miniature golden retriever. That was really sweet. I squealed when Kai just nonchalantly dropped some info on his backstory. To think no one believed him. Wish-chan! Again, I absolutely love your Pero-chan. Now I want him to have more cameos in this series. I find it funny to think that he's the Mizuki patron animal. Thank you so much. And lastly, the amount of Sakura and Shadow moments in this chapter gave me so much life. Thank you, Wish-chan. Thanks for sharing. Happy holidays.
Oh, that's really cute. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then we will leave you off with the Chapter 30.5, Sharon's Birthday Special podcast episodes comments. Happy holidays! This chapter was full of lore. In fact, out of all the families, the Lee clan has to be the one with the most lore, if only because they are such a big family. If Wish-chan having to create multiple Lee clan hierarchy references doesn't prove that, I don't know what else does. Oh, that's very true. Mm-hmm. I'd be curious to know how the Lee clan tests actually work, how many tests there are besides the ones for the Chosen One and Great Elders. I don't know. It's like we only hear about Chosen One and Great Elder because that's like Sharon's living life. But if they have that for that, it's like, I can't see, oh yes, you must now do the test to see if you'll be the head accountant.
You have to do an Excel spreadsheet in 10 minutes. I imagine that there's like a magical hierarchy for stuff, but then if you're non-magical or not in that realm of the business, then I would assume you wouldn't have to do it, but I don't know.
I've always been confused about the Ghost Wolf. How did the Ghost Wolf entity exist in Hong Kong if Shulin, presumably, was in Japan when Ryuchi went off the rails and the Lee clan lived in Shanghai? Anyway, some part of me has always believed that this entity was Wolfie Chan's previous life. Another part of me has always believed that the Ghost Wolf to be the child of Hayashi's patron animal, just like Wolfie Chan sort of is. But maybe back in the day, I did believe the wolf, and not the dragon, to be Shulin's patron animal. I think at this point in the story, we didn't know that G5 had patron animals. Yeah, I think that's the best way to explain it. Because we were a bit jumping around with that.
Yeah.
It was a nice touch to have Iran tell us that Ryurin wasn't perfect. I would like to think that even though Nadeshiko was his first love, Iran, I'm not saying her name right. I think it's Yelan, no? Yelan, yeah. Yelan knew him, basically Sharon's mother, folks. He knew him better out of anyone. Realistically, we, the audience, know he wasn't the perfect guy, but because we tend to get most of the information about him from Sharon, Sakura, and Leiyun, we tend to view Ryurin through the tragic hero lens. Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. Sort of 180 degrees. I agree with Melanie's observation. Wutai does give I only care about pure blood family / people energy. And even then, we all know he only cares about one person, and that's himself. Yep. Anyway, I totally didn't make the connection between Ariel and Tomoyo communicating. Like, I know based on later chapters that she did continue her phone calls with him, but I hadn't realized that connected that to his. And I hadn't really connected that to his gift. Yeah. Lastly, I have to agree with the foreshadow. When I read Wish Chan's 2011 author's notes, I thought the foreshadow was regarding Wolfie-chan, his fate, Leiyun coming back, and Sakura and Sharon's ending in Arc 3. Thanks for sharing. Happy holidays. And this is where we leave you for tonight. Well, thanks for sticking around with us in this extra long bonus episode. You have been listening to New Trials, the podcast, where it must rain for there to be a rainbow.
You've been listening to New Trials, the podcast. Please be sure to check out the audiobook version of this fan fiction, where you can now listen to a finished Arc 1 and Arc 2 of the story. Also, please be sure to check out the Facebook fan page for New Trials, where a big part of our discussions happen nowadays. And folks, sad to say, still have not heard from our Queen Wish-chan, but that is A-okay. That is totally fine. Still, go ahead and send us your questions if you have any. Friendly reminder is ntthepod@gmail.com or Preya, because she's a lot more responsible than yours truly. And then be sure to stick around next time where we discuss the last part of Diana's special. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.